Okay, welcome everyone. I hope that this first section was not too boring. I know that it's a lot of details and it's the basics, but again, I think that it's very necessary for us to pay attention, at least in the beginning, exclusively to the basics. So this doesn't mean that you have to forget about that. Every time you have any questions, every time you have any problems with one particular exercise, try to identify the portion in which you have a problem and then go back to the videos. But again, from now on, everything is going to be more exercise based rather than just me talking. So the first thing that I'm going to do is going to be very simple. We're going to incorporate some footwork to our basic strikes. So these are going to look familiar to you because it's pretty much how you have done the striking against the strike by going backwards, but now we're going to add the footwork going to the front. Okay. Now in this case, we're going to go 1 foot at a time, and we're going to move 1 foot to the front and 1 foot to the back. As you see, I'm actually going to move just the left foot. That's it in the beginning. So I put my right foot forward, and every time I strike, I'm going to move. Now 1 foot forward, 1, back 2, forward 3, back 4, forward 5, back 6, forward 7, back 8, forward 9, back 10, forward 11, back 12, and forward 13, and I finish. Now I go back, and now I'm going to do the same, but now I'm actually going to go from the front, and I'm going to start by moving the left foot back and then forward. Okay, that way I get to practice both strikes and how they feel with both feet, the front or the back. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to move back 1, move forward 2, back 3, forward 4, back 5, forward 6, back 7, forward 8, back 9, forward 10, back 11, forward 12, and back 13. Okay, now easy. Now, we're gonna go back to the right foot forward, and before we're just doing back and forth with 1 foot at a time, right? So what we're gonna do now is going to be 2 steps, and every time you step, you're gonna strike. So I'm gonna do a demonstration in the beginning, very short. 1, 2, and go back 3 and 4, and so on. Okay, so I'm going to start 1, 2, back 3, 4, forward 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And I'm going to end in that direction. So all I've done is basically moving 2 steps to the front by striking, 2 steps to the back by striking at the same time. Now why? I want you to be familiar with every single strike and every single move. And today we're just going to see linear movement. Okay, we're not going to incorporate circular movement yet. That's going to be in a different video. Do not get you confused. We want to make it as simple as possible. But again, if you have problems with doing that, I should definitely recommend you to do a couple of times all the rundown and all the angles so you don't get confused. Okay. So we were doing this with 1 and 2 from the front. Now we're going to start with the left foot forward. Same thing, 2 steps to the front, 2 steps to the back. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, and 13. That's it. Now, the problem with that is that every time we strike, as you probably have noticed, especially when you move, we're kind of forgetting about the going all the way through and taking advantage of the proper mechanics, right? That could be solved, and we're going to dedicate an entire video to that, by just stepping and striking all the way through and modifying the body, the twist, okay? So in this case, for example, if I go 1 and 2, look how it looks like. 1 and 2. All I'm doing is basically moving and twisting. 1 and 2, and twisting over the heel. over the ball of your foot. But again, I would not pay so much attention. This is just basic coordination, so for you to start thinking about how to coordinate. I would not pay so much attention to that. If I were you in the beginning, I just want you to coordinate your hand and your feet at the same time. So we basically have covered both single movements, and we have done 1 and 2, back and forth. We have moved one foot at a time with both sides. Now, what happened with the side to side? We're gonna start very simple, going sideways and one strike at a time. And the trick is basically moving the foot that is already on that side first, and the other one follows, like this and this. So again, if I'm moving towards the right foot forward, right foot first, and the left one follows. If I'm moving towards the left one first, and the other one follows. So very simple. I'm gonna run down through all the angles again, but now moving sideways, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's it, very simple, right? So we started with the right foot, switch feet, and now you're gonna do the same with the left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's it. So that way you get used to, again, this is basic coordination. If you're not feeling the twist, don't worry just yet. It's not important. It's better to coordinate and focus on the coordination first, because it's going to be a lot if you have never practiced this before, okay? Now, we're going to start right foot forward again, and we're going to do 2 steps in one time and 2 steps towards the other one, and every time you step, you strike. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? So now I'm coming back, right foot, and now I'm gonna switch, and I'm gonna repeat the same exercise now with the left foot forward. We're gonna start going towards the left, 2 steps at a time. Every time you move, you twist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. Now careful, because I'm basically trying to not fall down. I'm slipping a little bit on the rock, but you get the drill, okay? So the idea is for you to be familiar with every move and then play around, whether it is towards the front, towards the back, and being able to do 1 or 2 moves without having to think about too much, okay? Now, as you probably have seen, all I'm doing is basically moving one foot and the other one follows, but there's also one move in which you're gonna go back to one position and go back to the same position that you were. That's a different type of linear movement. Basically what you do, this is a perfect move for you to skate. Like every time you're going to be hit and you're trying to gain distance and try to go back, this is actually a great move to do it. You don't have to move this and go with the other one. You can immediately move that foot to gain space and go back to the same position. So the key here is to move back and forth by being pushed with the same foot that you have used to move back. You're gonna plant your ball of your foot, but not your entire foot, and then you're gonna go and push yourself towards the front. That way you can go quick. Now the trick, you see my left foot now is up and my right heel is down, right? So what I do when I go back is I don't actually necessarily need to plant the entire foot. I can leave it like halfway and go quickly and right away to the same point. That is going to facilitate quick movements. Try not to drag your foot. Try not to do this. Listen, that. Try not to do that because it's going to delay the movement. Rather, just go rather than that. just going straight and go back, straight and go back, like that. Okay, so again, straight and go back. So we're going to do the same move. Now we're going to strike the same angles by doing that move. Every time you would move back and I move towards the front, I strike. Okay, so every move is a strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, and 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay? Now, all I've done is basically incorporate that escape and a follow-up. We will see in a different video why this is so useful. This is useful because that can be a strike and it could be a comeback right away, meaning it could be a counter, okay? So, we started with the right foot forward. What happened when I'm on the back for whatever reason? I can do the same thing, okay? So now I'm gonna be striking every time I move and strike. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. So again, try not to pay so much attention to the proper footwork. I'm trying not to emphasize so you don't be obsessed about that. We will incorporate that later. I'm gonna give you a hint. So if you're doing this and this, coming back and forth and just striking, how do you feel the second strike is gonna be? It's gonna be weak, right? Because I'm coming from this position. If I don't go all the way through, I'm losing already a lot of the power. So technically, every time I strike, whether it is to defend myself, striking the strike, or it's literally striking what I intended to, and I go back, I have to emphasize the twist. If you see me from the front, it will look like kind of like this. 1, 2, different. 1, 2. One more time. 1 and 2. And as you see, I'm gonna do it one more time from this side. 1 and 2. You can extend now all the way through. This is also very good for long range, okay? Now, do not complicate things anymore. Keep it very simple. Try to repeat as many times as possible. Again, this is the basis for any footwork and strikes. And I would say the more you practice, the more muscle memory you're going to be building. It's going to be much easier for you in the future to be able to move without even thinking, which is that's the purpose of this exercise. So as I said, train as many times as possible, enjoy, and see you in the next video. Push.